Welcome to CyberXplain channel. Today we are going to discuss your IAM journey, understanding the life cycle from hire to retire. Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today, we are diving into something super foundational for anyone curious about identity and access management, or IAM, the IAM lifecycle. Think of it like a story, the full journey a digital identity takes within an organization. We are going to break down how we manage who gets access to what, from the very first day someone joins, all the way to their last. We'll explore each crucial step, making sure everyone feels like they've got a solid grasp. No jargon, just clear explanations and real-world examples. So, grab your favorite drink, and let's get started. Before we jump into the life cycle, let's quickly nail down what IAM is at its core. Imagine you have a bustling office building with different floors for different teams and sensitive documents stored in various rooms. IAM is simply the system that makes sure only the right people get into the right rooms at the right time to see the right documents. It's about verifying someone's identity and then deciding what they're allowed to do. This isn't just for people, it's for devices, applications, and even little automated scripts too. Why do we even bother with all this? Well, ever wondered how big companies protect their customer data, their financial records, or even just their internal emails? It's largely through strong IAM practices. Without good IAM, it's like leaving all the doors in that office building unlocked, with a big welcome, everyone sign. Bad actors, whether they're outsiders like hackers or even disgruntled insiders, could easily walk in and take whatever they want. We've seen breaches from things like stolen credentials at major retailers, where attackers moved freely through networks for months. Good IAM is your first line of defense, making sure only trusted identities get through. So, what exactly do we mean by life cycle here? Think about a person's journey with a company. They get hired, they start working, maybe they move to different departments, they might take on new roles, and eventually, they retire or move on to another job. Each of those steps changes what they need access to. The IAM lifecycle is simply the structured way we manage all those access changes throughout a digital identity's entire life within an organization. It's about ensuring their access is always just right, never too much, never too little, from their first login to their very last. Alright, let's get a bird's eye view of the 6 main stages we'll be discussing today. Imagine these as chapters in our identity's story. First, we have access request and approval, which is all about asking for and getting permission for access. Then comes provisioning and deprovisioning, where we actually grant or remove that access. After that, access enforcement makes sure the rules are followed when someone tries to use their access. We then move into the auditing and reporting stage, where we keep tabs on everything. Following that is access review and certification, where we check if existing access is still needed. And finally, account reconciliation is where we make sure what they have matches what they should have. Each stage builds on the last, creating a secure and efficient system. Let's kick things off with the very first stage, access request and approval. This is literally where it all begins. When a new employee joins, or an existing employee needs access to a new system for a project, they can't just magically get in, right? Someone has to formally ask for that access, and then someone else has to review and officially approve it. Think of it like getting a new key card for a specific office floor. You don't just walk up to the security desk and demand it. You need a reason and a manager's sign-off. So, what kind of information goes into an access request? It's not just I need access to the finance system, please. A good request form will always ask for the why. Why do you need this access? Is it for a new project, a change in your role, or to cover for someone on leave? It'll also specify exactly which systems or data you need access to and for how long. This why is super important because it provides the business justification, helping the approver make an informed decision and preventing unnecessary access from the get-go. Once a request is submitted, who gets to approve it? Typically, it's a few key people. Your direct manager usually approves requests related to your daily job functions as they understand your role best. Then, the owner of the resource, like the head of the finance department for the finance system, might also need to approve, ensuring their data stays secure. For really sensitive systems, a security officer might even give a final sign-off. The goal is to have multiple sets of eyes, especially for critical access, to make sure nothing slips through that shouldn't. Let's imagine a new hire, Alex, joining the marketing team. Alex needs access to the team's shared drive, the marketing campaign software, and the company's internal communication tool. Their manager, Sarah, would fill out an access request form. This form might be a simple web form in an IAM system or even a digital document. It details Alex's role, the required resources, and Sarah's approval. Notice how it asks for specific access types, like read-only or full edit, to follow the least privilege principle we'll discuss later. This ensures Alex gets exactly what's needed, no more, no less. What can go wrong in this stage? A common pitfall is the rubber stamp approval. This happens when approvers, overwhelmed with requests or just not paying close enough attention, simply approve everything without truly understanding the need. We often see this in large organizations where managers might have hundreds of reports. This can quickly lead to users accumulating more access than they actually need, which is a big security risk. Another issue is a slow, manual approval process, causing delays for new hires or transferred employees, making them unproductive. We want careful but efficient approvals. To avoid those rubber stamp issues and delays, what should we do? First, streamline the process with automated workflows. An IAM system can route requests to the right approvers automatically, sending reminders and even escalating if approvals are overdue. Second, provide clear, concise information about what's being approved. Instead of technical jargon, use business-friendly role descriptions. Finally, encourage approvers to ask questions and challenge requests they don't fully understand. Education is key, making sure everyone knows the security implications of their approval decisions. Once a request is approved, we move into the provisioning stage. This is where the rubber meets the road. Provisioning is the actual act of creating an identity and granting them the approved access rights across all the necessary systems and applications. It's like taking that approved key card request and actually manufacturing the card, encoding it, and making sure the door readers recognize it. This isn't just about creating an account, it's about setting up all the correct permissions so the user can hit the ground running. Think about a new employee's first day. They're excited, maybe a little nervous, and they want to be productive quickly. Good provisioning makes this happen. As soon as HR inputs the new hire's information, an automated provisioning system can spring into action. It creates their email account, sets up their login for the internal network, adds them to collaboration tools, and grants access to their team's shared drives, all based on their role. This ensures a smooth onboarding experience, eliminating frustrating delays and manual IT tasks. It's the digital welcome mat. How does all this automatic stuff happen? IAM provisioning systems use connectors and integrations to talk to different applications and directories. For example, when a new user is created in an HR system like Workday, the IAM system picks up that event. It then uses pre-configured rules to decide what access that user needs and sends commands to systems like Microsoft Entra ID for Windows logins, Salesforce, or Dropbox to create accounts and assign permissions. This automation is really powerful, ensuring consistency and accuracy across the board. Just as important as giving access is taking it away, which is called deprovisioning. This happens when an employee leaves the company, changes roles, or no longer needs access to a particular system. Deprovisioning is the process of promptly revoking all unnecessary or inappropriate access rights. Think about an employee leaving the company. You wouldn't want them to still have access to your sensitive files from home a week later. This step is absolutely critical for security, preventing unauthorized access by former employees or malicious actors using their old credentials. When an employee leaves the company, whether they're retiring or moving to a new job, offboarding is where deprovisioning shines. Ideally, as soon as HR marks an employee as terminated, the IAM system automatically triggers a cascade of actions. It disables their network account, revokes access to all cloud applications, removes them from email distribution lists, and deletes their digital certificates. This immediate and comprehensive removal of access closes potential security gaps right away. It's like changing all the locks and collecting all the key cards the moment someone walks out the door for good. Now, let's tie this back to our real-world scenario, a large organization struggling with employees transferring departments. This is where things get tricky. When an employee moves from, say, marketing to sales, they gain new access for their sales role. But often, if deprovisioning isn't tightly integrated, their old marketing access isn't automatically removed. This means they end up with accumulated privileges, access they no longer need for their current job. Imagine someone moving from the blue team to the red team, getting a red key card, but still keeping their old blue key card, even though they don't work with the blue team anymore. This is a common and dangerous problem. So, why are these accumulated privileges, especially from transferred employees, such a big deal? It's like having spare keys to rooms you no longer need access to, just lying around. If a bad actor compromises that employee's account, they now have access not just to the current department's resources, but also the old department's. This significantly expands the attacker's playground within your network, making a breach much more damaging. This privilege creep is a leading cause of insider threat risk and can make compliance audits a nightmare, as you can't prove who should have what access. To conquer these challenges, especially with internal transfers, automation is your best friend. Link your IAM system directly to your HR system. When an employee's role or department changes in HR, it should trigger an automated workflow to revoke old access and grant new access simultaneously. Define clear, role-based access profiles so you know exactly what access each role needs and only grant that. Regular communication between HR, IT, and department managers is also crucial. It's all about making sure those keys are issued and retrieved promptly and accurately. Alright, once access is requested, approved, and provisioned, how do we make sure those rules are actually followed every single time? That's where access enforcement comes in. This is the stage where the system actively checks if an identity is who they say they are, and if they're actually allowed to perform the action they're trying to do. Think of it as the bouncer at the digital club, constantly checking IDs and making sure people only go into the VIP areas they're authorized for. It happens every single time someone tries to log in or access a resource. The first part of enforcement is authentication. This is simply verifying that you are who you claim to be. When you log into your email with a username and password, you are authenticating. We commonly categorize authentication methods into 3 factors. Something you know, like a password or PIN. Something you have, like a phone with a one-time code or a smart card. And something you are, which includes biometrics like your fingerprint or face scan. We all use authentication every day, often without even thinking about it. Just using a password, something you know, can be risky, right? That's why we have multi-factor authentication, or MFA. MFA combines 2 or more different types of authentication factors. For example, your password, something you know, combined with a code sent to your phone, something you have. Even if a hacker steals your password, they'd also need your phone to get the code, making it much harder for them to break in. Most major cloud providers like AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud strongly recommend MFA for all users, especially administrators. Once you are authenticated and the system knows who you are, the next step in enforcement is authorization. This is where the system decides what you are actually allowed to do. It's like proving you have a valid ticket to a concert, authentication, and then the usher showing you to your assigned seat, not letting you just wander backstage, authorization. Your authorization is based on the permissions assigned to your digital identity, often through roles or groups. So, a marketing specialist might be authorized to edit marketing documents, but not view customer financial records. A cornerstone of good authorization is the principle of least privilege, or POLP. This means giving users, or devices, or applications, only the minimum access they need to do their job, and nothing more. If you just need to read a report, you shouldn't have permission to edit or delete it. For our scenario, this is huge. A transferred employee who still has old access clearly violates POLP. They have more privilege than needed, creating unnecessary risk. Enforcing POLP rigorously helps contain damage if an account is compromised, keeping attackers from moving freely through your systems. Even with enforcement, things can go wrong. If authentication isn't strong enough, like only using weak passwords without MFA, accounts can be easily compromised. This is why multi-factor authentication is so important. For authorization, a big pitfall is privilege escalation. This happens when a user, through a system flaw or misconfiguration, manages to gain higher access rights than they are supposed to have. Also, our scenario of accumulated privileges directly bypasses least privilege, giving attackers more options if they breach a transferred employee's account. To keep enforcement solid, prioritize strong authentication with MFA for everyone, especially for highly privileged accounts. Implement POLP religiously, ensuring every user has just enough access and that old access is removed when roles change. Use role-based access control, RBAC, to manage permissions at a group level rather than individually, making it easier to scale and maintain. And importantly, continuously monitor access enforcement logs for any anomalies or suspicious activities. It's an ongoing effort to keep those digital doors secured. Now that we know how access is granted and enforced, how do we keep track of everything that's actually happening? That's the job of auditing and reporting. This phase is all about collecting information on who accessed what, when, and what they did with it. Think of it like the security cameras and logbooks in our office building analogy. It's not just about catching bad guys, but also about understanding normal behavior, identifying potential problems, and proving that our security controls are actually working as intended for compliance purposes. What kind of information are we typically logging? We are looking for things like successful and failed login attempts, any changes made to user accounts or permissions, and access to sensitive data or critical systems. Every click, every file opened, every access denied, these actions generate log entries. These logs are digital breadcrumbs that tell a story. They help us answer critical questions like who deleted that file, or when did that unauthorized user try to get into the server? The more detail, the better, but it needs to be organized. Collecting all those logs is one thing, but making them useful is another. That's where reporting comes in. IAM systems generate various reports and dashboards that help us visualize and understand the access landscape. We can get reports on who has administrator access, how many failed login attempts a user had, or which employees accessed sensitive data in the last month. For our transferred employee scenario, reports could highlight users with access to multiple departments' resources, flagging potential accumulated privileges for investigation. These reports are invaluable for quick insights and decision-making. While auditing is powerful, it's not without its challenges. One major pitfall is log fatigue. Too many logs, too little time to review them, making it easy to miss critical events. Another issue is generic or shared accounts, like guest_user or admin_service, where you can't trace actions back to a single individual, making accountability impossible. For our transferred employees, if we don't have good reporting, those accumulated privileges simply won't show up as abnormal unless someone is specifically looking for them. Without proper tools or analysis, a needle in a haystack is impossible to find. To make auditing effective, centralize your logs into a Security Information and Event Management (SIEM) system. This helps correlate events and spots anomalies automatically. Define clear auditing policies, what needs to be logged, for how long, and who reviews it. Crucially, eliminate shared accounts. Every action should be traceable to a unique identity. Regularly review your reports and, for our scenario, specifically look for reports that show cross-departmental access, especially for individuals who have transferred. This proactivity can flag accumulated privileges before they become a problem. Even with great provisioning and reporting, access needs regular checkups. That's access review and certification. This is a periodic process where managers or resource owners formally review all the access rights assigned to their teams or systems. They ask, is this access still needed and appropriate for this person's current role? They then certify that the access is correct or flag it for removal. Think of it like a doctor's annual checkup, making sure everything is still healthy and necessary. This is especially vital for catching those accumulated privileges from transferred employees. This phase is the place where our transferred employee scenario often goes unnoticed. Remember the rubber stamp problem from approvals? It's even more prevalent here. Managers, especially in large organizations with many reports or complex access structures, might just click approve all during an access review without truly scrutinizing each permission. They might not even remember what an employee's old role required, or simply trust that everything is fine. This inaction directly perpetuates accumulated privileges, allowing them to linger and pose risks. We need to make these reviews meaningful, not just a formality. So, how do we make access reviews more effective? First, automate the process as much as possible, presenting clear, concise access information to reviewers. Instead of raw technical permissions, show them role-based bundles. Second, use a risk-based approach. Review highly sensitive access, like administrator privileges or access to critical financial data, more frequently, perhaps quarterly, while less critical access might be semi-annually. Third, ensure reviewers have the right context and training, understanding the importance of their decisions. The goal is thoughtful, not rushed, certification. To really nail access reviews, consider integrating them with your IAM system so that flagged access automatically triggers a deprovisioning workflow. Ensure the review data is always fresh, pulling directly from live systems. Crucially, encourage direct communication between reviewers and users if there are questions about specific access rights. For our transferred employees, having specific review campaigns triggered by HR system changes can be extremely effective. This ensures that when John from marketing moves to sales, his old marketing access is explicitly reviewed and removed. Our last phase in the IAM lifecycle is account reconciliation. This is the ultimate double check, where we compare what a user actually has access to in the systems with what they should have based on approved requests and certifications. It's like comparing the inventory list of keys to the actual keys currently in circulation for our office building. Reconciliation helps identify discrepancies, like if someone has access they were never approved for, or if an approved access wasn't actually provisioned. It's the critical step for maintaining data accuracy and preventing drift in access permissions. This phase is incredibly powerful for tackling our transferred employee problem head-on. Imagine our transferred employee, who moved from marketing to sales, still having old marketing access. Reconciliation can run a report that says, This user is in the sales department, but they still have permissions for the marketing shared drive. This doesn't match. It flags these inconsistencies, allowing security teams to investigate and remediate the accumulated privileges. It's like an automated detective, constantly looking for what doesn't quite add up. Without it, those lingering permissions might never be noticed. Account reconciliation typically involves an IAM system periodically scanning all target systems and comparing their current state of access with the desired state held in a central identity store. If it finds a user account active in a system that should have been deprovisioned, or if permissions don't match the assigned role, it generates an alert or even automatically corrects the discrepancy. This can involve comparing user groups in Active Directory with roles defined in your IAM governance tool. It's a continuous, automated cleanup crew for your digital access. A common pitfall is simply not doing reconciliation, or doing it so infrequently that problems build up. Another is a lack of integration between systems, making it hard to get an accurate single source of truth for desired access. For best practice, implement automated, frequent reconciliation, ideally daily, especially for critical systems. Ensure your IAM system is well integrated with authoritative sources like HR. When discrepancies are found, have clear, documented processes for investigation and remediation. Don't just log it, fix it. So there you have it, the full IAM lifecycle, from the moment someone requests access to their very last digital footprint. It's not just a one-time setup, it's a continuous, ongoing process, a true journey. Each phase, request, provisioning, enforcement, auditing, review, and reconciliation, plays a vital role in maintaining security and efficiency. Remember our transferred employee scenario? Good IAM practices across all these stages are what keep accumulated privileges from becoming a major security incident. It's about being proactive, not reactive, and making sure your digital keys are always in the right hands. Keep learning, keep questioning, and you'll be an IAM pro in no time. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the CyberXplain channel. See you on the next video.